Hi guys, thank you very much for being here. Paulina here with just a few notes on this incredible new moon eclipse in Capricorn on the 5th to the 6th of January 2019. So first of all, I would like to tell you, don't freak out about the new year. It is not new to the 21st of March. It is just a numerical system that is superimposed over the natural year that says it is the new year. So energetically, it's not going to happen till March, till we swing from Pisces, which is the no man's land, which is the womb, and which is death, into Aries, which is the rebirth. So, okay, this is a very impressive stellium. So the stellium that this is taking place in, to me, represents growth, commitment, continuums, and also the full quantum of time, and also the meaning beyond time itself. It is not just about you here, it is not just for you, it is about the bigger picture of life. And unfortunately, I have a feeling that many of us will just get readjusted ever so slightly, but quite strongly during the time that builds up to this particular transit. So it feels to me, if you aren't quite with yourself in terms of where you are, where you were, what you wanted to be, don't worry. So the thing here is not to repress any urge. It feels to me that by this full moon eclipse that is coming up later in the month, I feel we will recognize what this meant, and also the full flowering of this particular transit will not really come into place until the end of the year. So I feel that for a lot of us, there's going to be a slight adjustment. It's like going to a chiropractic's office, but not quite. It is more like there's going to be steps taken and things done that are perhaps not entirely within your own willpower and that are not entirely up to you. But it is also very soft. Time is becoming soft. I don't believe that time is a harsh, aging, sad aspect anymore. It feels to me that time actually has an ear, and time has a heart. So if you like, please continue on as you would have done anyway, but also consider how it might benefit you to step aside from your work sometimes, or step aside from your peers or from your craft, and have a look as to how you can define this particular time for yourself in a greater softness and context of your life. So one of the greatest things here, I believe, is the context of your overall existence on this planet, but also the ecosystem that homes you, and the greater connection to the greater people, or the bigger picture of it all. So it's more of a collective, and over time, perhaps even historical time, and the understanding of who you are, not just based on your parents and your partner and your children, but rather the overall. So it feels to me that unfortunately, yeah, most of us cannot change some things here, and most of us cannot move. Capricorn really sets things up and sets things in place. But fortunately, it feels that if you aren't meant to be where you are with a very, very strong core, or if you're very, very, very obviously no longer perhaps able to keep a blind eye, or if you are no longer able to play along with a certain story and you just can't fit in, or you can't cope with certain things, you'll probably get adjusted. And the thing is to let things adjust you, but not to try and help other people. So the thing here is not to make yourself the guru, or not make yourself the standby person for someone else, because they can be very karmic this year. But also, for example, if something happens to you, if something kind of imprints you, or if something has impact on you as if you were clay, I feel it is very, very nice time to belong with these types of realities, belong with these types of connections, belong with this, because it might be this time and this time only that can perhaps set you up for the next year. But also it feels to me there could be missed opportunities later if you don't allow things to happen now. And they can be very rough, and they can be very kind. There could be just one or two words from a loved one that are going to shape your life. Or maybe there is one or two things that perhaps went amiss, or weren't really given to you. Maybe there could be 1, 2, 3 things that can evade you or even evaporate into thin air. There can be extreme loss or extreme gain. But the thing here is not to trust it to be just for the here and now. It feels to me that people are looking for fast cash or fast choices or fast incomes or like fast change. But it feels to me that this is not really correct here. It's not going to really truly make sense until later on in time. So the path that you're taking now and the changes that are being developed during this time may no longer serve you really truly if you try to make something out of it too fast. This is really like a slow boiling time. The pig year is already letting us know what it's going to be like. So this isn't truly about catching on, getting a whiff of something and running with it like the dog year has been for a while now. It's more about feeling the feelings, shifting with time, and allowing this perhaps minor adjustment to fall into space as if it was to echo, or as if it was to reverberate into many, many different parts. So what I mean, it's like if you can imagine a silent room with a huge pool of water inside and droplets of water making this incredible sound. So it would be very, very amazing to let things echo and not to abbreviate any kind of action anybody's taking during this time in your life, not to abbreviate any type of situation, not to shun and shush anybody, not to break off from anything too fast, unless you just know that it is just not, you're not taking to it. And it is very, very good not to nurture also, because I have a feeling that nurturing of other people, because it got North Node truly in Cancer now, nurturing of other people, trying to make them feel at home with you, or really, really making a huge presence or a huge pact with the world via that which you do with another person. It feels to me that it can actually fall short, and it can actually make you feel maybe even encumbered with something that wasn't even for you, really. It's very easy here to adopt somebody. It is very easy to put somebody into your game that does not belong there. It's also very easy here not to belong yourself. So the best thing here, building up to this particular lunar transit, is not to talk too much as well. So not to talk too much unless you know what you are giving. It is not a social time. And I've talked about this a lot. It's not a social time. Capricorn, the beginning of Capricorn, is a very, very structuring, even minuscule time. You know, the quantum, the genius of this time is hidden. If we splash around and we talk a lot and we make an impression, we make an effort, we think we've done a very good thing. But this is 12th house to Aquarius. Aquarius is the time when we can really splash. Capricorn is a time to retain and even to retract. But also it feels to me that a lot of us will not quite know it, but much of the ideas and the amazing opportunities and situations that we probably would have had, we could easily miss if we just spread our word around, we spread our concepts throughout anybody's life. You know, we try to show everybody what we've done last year. We put ourselves on a pedestal, we put ourselves on the surface, and we try to show so much that we actually forget that quantum energy that makes things in silence. If you can imagine a cave, working within a cave, working in secret. Secrecy is very Capricornian. Working in secret, trying to do things on your own, minor adjustments to your world, massive shifts. You know, it's like you update your website, you get a lot of followers suddenly, or you do just 1 or 2 of those things and you get a minor thing growing into something very big. You can grow something very big during this time, but the thing is not to bombard yourself or another with how much you think you've done and who you think you are, because if you really parade during this time and you stick your chest out and you heave through and you feel that you've got it done, you've got it made, you have this huge optimism for the next year to come, what you think is the next year numerically, it feels to me that something might be off. So the energy that you have cultivated for a long time, say through Virgo, that you have appeased through Libra, crafted in Scorpio, and really, really finessed in Sagittarius and Capricorn, should really start growing and evolving and extending, either growing back or growing forward. But here we don't have that. We don't have the patience, because we think that this is the new year. And with social frivolous activity, as social, societal, social stuff is 12th house, as the house of loss, or is the house of dream. And what this basically means to me is plunging ourselves into the social, melting pot, binding ourselves with people, trying to become a new best friend, especially to someone, or making lots of friends on the road and doing things like that, is not just frivolous. It can actually bend you right away from your own center. And the type of dreams or the type of work or the type of craft that you would have done, as you look at the top of the chart from Virgo to Pisces, you can really finesse your life, you can really complete things, you can really bring things to an end, and you can really, really become who you are. That gets broken and fragmented. So please, you guys, if you can, be free, stay free. You don't have to go to a party, you don't have to go shopping, you don't have to try and make a new friend. It is not really the time to set a resolution either, unless it is completely in alignment and in a chronological pace with what you've done in the last few months. But the other thing here that I feel that we might all need is time. Time. But by having time, it does not mean alcoholic beverages, it does not mean parties and barbecues. And the reason for this is because that type of social time is going to break up the Aquarian vibration of the all coming together, So social graces, they're going to come, but by evoking these experiences now and fighting for them, fighting for supremacy, fighting for dominance, putting all that you have to the front, making everybody know how great you are, how great your year went, or how perfect you think the next year is going to be. That type of thing really, I feel, bothers energy. I feel it really makes unnecessary ripples throughout time. And then after a while, treating the most inward and secure time as the most social time, which it's not at all social time, we might accidentally cause a certain type of barrier, or we can also lose some things, and we can become someone that we aren't. Especially if you're trying to make a presence, you're trying to create yourself into some kind of a person, like you want to identify. Identifying how you identify to yourself, that right now is not important. People are like, oh, what I've done last year, what I'm going to do. No. There's no last year. It's just a numerical system guiding us the wrong way. So the best thing here is not to terrify yourself if you've been, year in, year out, celebrating, putting a lot of gusto into the most quietest time of the year organically. It's not okay to worry, but the thing here is to just consider how you can slowly bring things to a fruiting, and how you can, over time, consider and concern yourself with the most practical and the most simple steps to take in order to take your own business, your own craft, or your own system to a greater height. What you can do here to really evolve your family line, and to maybe have a look, start seeing how you can build yourself better. So it is a slow, silent inner retreat, and it is a time to grow within. But for us all, there's also going to be time to grow without, if we have had a lot of stagnancy and something pushing up inside, and we had no idea how to craft it into greater connection. That's going to start to come out and build itself externally. And that includes bad feelings and fears too. So it's not just like the good stuff. But yeah, if you have been a craftsperson, you've been crafting or creating for a long time, perhaps it is a great opportunity to try and build your craft towards your audience, or try to expose yourself as a guide or a teacher or an artist. It's a great time. But also please consider if you can be humble and honest about it as well. If we're not humble and honest during this time, we're puffing ourselves up. We can very much lose things. We can also create a disconnected or disassociated mind. Mercury is almost conjunct here, Saturn. I mean, to me, this looks like the perfect time to consider if what you're saying is true, and what you're becoming for your word, and the sounds that you emit is real, and how you're using the vibration of time to really guide you. But one of the most miraculous things is indeed this partial solar eclipse. To my knowledge of this type of energy, I believe that it is not going to be exactly what we think. I feel that some people are going to just get deterred and completely uninterested in certain things, and it feels to me that a lot of us will not even any longer respect or associate with our paths. And I think that some of us as well might truly disconnect from our own will and almost like let life guide us. This is a big thing for Libra and like Pisces, especially being magnetized by things without having the will or the force to really continue things on their own. It feels to me that strong guidance is needed only for people that do feel stuck, but it's very easy here to believe in a religious group association or like start to become a martyr within yourself. One of the greatest things with a transit like this is to stop worrying and working so hard, but with what you do, you have to really consider how it impacts your whole timeline. You know, like how you can really, really deliberately create through this particular project that you have or this particular portal that you are working on, what you have created in the previous months that has built you up to do this finally, and what it is that you are truly trying to do, and why are you here still when you want to be over there, or what are the different steps that you might need to take in order to get you through. It's all there basically. So also with this Chiron Mars, of course, you know, Venus on the cusp, you know, heading towards Jupiter, I don't really feel this is the greatest time to remember things either. I feel it is more like, okay, who am I now? A lot of people I feel will not remember, how can I say, in correct time. I feel that memories and the idea of the past is going to get, how can I say, messed about a little bit. So it's like just the current now, like how you feeling and how you compiling your current timeline. What can you do more to make it even better? It's like crafting, it's like mechanics, it's like you're a mechanic working out your life, Capricorn mechanic. And it could probably also be one of the best times of your life to commit to something real. But by staying away from what you want to say or being, how can I say, encumbered by work, when you actually have something very fresh and real inside, I feel that you can very easily lose. You know, also, unless you really, really want to gain something else, sometimes we have a very strong feeling, but we might feel it's not the real one. I feel that by last month, we should have been very, very honest and real and open about what we actually truly do feel and what we don't. So by now, it should be no qualm and no mystery as to what it is that you actually truly feel. And then, like, when you know what you feel and you combine it with hard work and a very good, you know, aesthetic and, you know, very peaceful hands and, you know, a very safe, holy space for your work, for your growth, then you have genius. You know, it's like as soon as you are allowing things to just simply naturally come together or come back into place, as soon as you just let nature work itself out through you, it creates genius. So just as, you know, I say before about these changes being not just for the frivolous timeline that we have now, but for the greater whole, I really trust that most of us will inevitably work out how perhaps these few first days of 2019 were not able to be truly defined. And by not being able to be defined, I feel we perhaps have done a lot of mistakes. We've masked our feelings. We try to be something else, or maybe we made a lot of friends we didn't need to make, or we try to make an impression on ourselves and others. But the time is now to be real, to get real. And it's not really to do with us. It's not to do with them. It's not to do with anything else. At this point in time, it's just trying to get simple, real, and natural about what you truly feel and desire. And also within that, what you deserve. So you might get an inkling at this point in time for your greater journey. You might understand who you are. You might get like a window into your whole life during this time. It's a very epic sort of mystical time actually, but it needs to be kept natural and private and physical in order to be balanced. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this. If you'd like, please check out my Patreon channel. I will place tiny little videos for this particular transit on to Patreon for every sign. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this, and all the details are in the caption section below. Thanks. Bye.